It doesn't matter if you're involved in a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family dynamic, or even at work. Have you ever found yourself always giving but feeling like you're getting very little in return? You give your time, effort, or love, but it often feels like you're the only one invested. At times, what you think is love or care might not be the healthy connection you expect. Instead, it could be a one-sided dynamic that is driven by emotional manipulation, known as dry begging. Dry begging is a subtle yet powerful form of emotional manipulation. In this dynamic, one person creates a feeling of obligation in the other, subtly pressuring them to give what they want. The trick here is to make you feel responsible for fulfilling their desires even when it's draining and leaves you feeling unappreciated. So how exactly do people use dry begging to control others, and how can you protect yourself from falling into this trap? In this video, we'll guide you through the signs of dry begging, how to identify when it's happening, and what you can do to set boundaries and ensure that your kindness isn't being taken advantage of. Let's begin by understanding how to spot dry begging in your relationships. Here's how you can tell the difference between genuine love and dry begging. Have you ever been in a situation where someone you care about says something like, "I'd love to go on a fancy date someday, if only someone cared enough to take me"? At first, this might seem like an innocent comment, or even endearing. But when comments like this are repeated, it's often a sign that they're hinting at something more. Rather than simply asking for what they want directly, they're playing on your emotions and creating a sense of guilt or obligation. The goal is to make you feel like you need to act on their desires to prove you care about them. In healthy relationships, clear and honest communication is key. Partners express their needs and desires openly without making the other person feel guilty or like they're failing. If someone is constantly dropping hints without asking for what they need directly, it's important to recognize this as an attempt to manipulate your actions without giving you the chance to make your own choices. Another common dry begging tactic is guilt tripping. This can be more direct and even feel like emotional blackmail. Instead of asking for what they want, they make you feel like a bad person for not already fulfilling their needs. For example, imagine they say, "I guess I'll just spend my birthday alone again." It's a statement that isn't asking for help, but is clearly meant to pressure you into making plans for them. The implication is that if you don't do something about it, you're neglecting them or failing in some way. This tactic puts the burden of their emotional happiness on you, making you feel uncomfortable until you act. It's not about the act being a loving gesture, it's about you feeling obligated to fix their disappointment because they made you feel guilty. A classic sign of dry begging is when someone constantly portrays themselves as helpless or needy. This can come in the form of comments like, "I really wish I could afford a new phone, but I'm just so broke right now," leaving you to feel that it's your responsibility to help them out. While it's normal to lean on each other in times of need, the key difference here is that in a healthy relationship, both parties are supporting one another. Dry beggars often act as if they're incapable of handling their own problems and subtly expect you to fix things for them. Ask yourself, does this person regularly expect you to be their savior, or do they take ownership of their own challenges? In genuine relationships, there's mutual support, not one person constantly relying on the other to come to the rescue. Dry beggars also tend to use passive-aggressive tactics, such as the silent treatment or displaying subtle signs of disappointment when their hints go unnoticed. For instance, they may give you the cold shoulder or become distant when you don't pick up on their unspoken wishes. Expecting someone to read your mind or meet your needs without ever explicitly asking for it is an unrealistic expectation. Healthy relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, are based on clear communication. Both parties share their needs and desires openly, without playing guessing games or waiting for the other to intuitively know what's needed. Another clear sign of dry begging is when someone consistently withholds gratitude. By not acknowledging your efforts, they're avoiding admitting that you've gone out of your way to help them. This makes it feel as if your gestures or actions are just expected, not appreciated. By withholding gratitude, they also ensure that you continue striving for their approval. Instead of feeling valued and seen for your kindness, you're left trying to earn their recognition, often with little reward. For example, imagine you surprise them with a thoughtful gift only to hear, "It's about time," or to receive no acknowledgement at all. This lack of recognition can make you feel as though you're always giving, but rarely receiving. It creates a cycle where you are continually working to meet their needs, but your efforts never seem to matter. It's important to understand that dry begging often comes from a deeper place of insecurity or unresolved emotional trauma. People who have experienced neglect or lack of love may struggle to ask for what they need directly. Instead, they hint, hoping their needs will be met without risking rejection. Unfortunately, this behavior can erode trust and create an unbalanced dynamic. One person ends up feeling used rather than loved, leading to frustration, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Dry begging can be emotionally taxing because it forces one person to carry the weight of the relationship while the other remains passive or manipulative. If any of these signs resonate with you, it's a good idea to have an open and honest conversation with the other person. Express how you feel about the dynamics at play and set clear boundaries to protect yourself from further emotional manipulation. You deserve relationships where your love and kindness are reciprocated, not taken for granted. Recognizing these signs is the first step in creating healthier, more balanced connections. What are some other signs of dry begging or subtle manipulation you've encountered in your relationships? Share your experiences with us in the comments. Your story might help someone else recognize similar patterns and take action. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on healthy relationships and self-growth. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.